Hey planner friends, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm planning from the 23rd to the 29th of June in my Archer and Olive notebook. I have a slightly different background because it's too hot upstairs, so I'm on the dining table. This week I'm using Tavern from Plannerface. This was exclusive art and I had the original version of this kit that I wanted to use for this week, and I thought I had enough leftovers, but as I mentioned in my last plan with me I didn't, so I bought the last version of this kit that I could, which actually turns out to be a slightly different colourway, so I'm not using any of the leftovers that I have because of course that's just who I am as a person. So I have the full kit version of this because the mini kit wasn't available anymore. I have all of my stickers pulled out in my Plannerface reusable sticker album and my planning notes in front of me, so we can get started with the base of this spread. As I said in my last plan with me, I ordered the kit for this week way too late. It's also a slightly different format to what I'm used to because it's a full kit and it's a slightly older full kit as well. So we're just gonna see how this goes. Let's go for a turquoise. In there. And then I think the full box, or the tall box even. Yeah, so it's like 30 degrees today and it was 25 at like 9 in the morning, so it was just way too hot to be upstairs in the office with like the windows shut and the fan on and no fan because it makes too much noise. So we're downstairs in the dining room, which means I can have like the patio doors open because we're at the back of my house, so you don't get all the road noise. And hopefully it'll be a bit of a less sweaty plan with me, although I am already sweltering. Although like my lights are only USB-C, they or USB-A, whatever it is, they kick out like a lot of heat. Let's use, I've got a couple different fashion girls, so we'll use this one. And then, I normally don't do like a full length sidebar with a tall box, so this is all going a little bit weird size wise. I might just squeeze a little snippet of this box down the bottom. Okay, so the reason I wanted to use this kit this week is because on the Monday we met up with some old friends and we went to a pub that we used to go to all the time that we don't really go to that much anymore. And then on the Friday we went to the pub again. But it was the first time in a while that we've walked to the pub that's like near our house with Reggie because it wasn't boiling hot on this week. Okay, I have a July monthly script. I think this flag is also bigger than the flags in the mini kits. That might also be what's throwing off my sizing. I've just got the two cask pumps there, and then we can do date covers. I have not dated my date covers and I don't have dates downstairs with me, so these are just going to stay undated for a while. But yes, we had 2 pub trips this week, so it was a bit of a pub heavy week. So when I was looking through my kits and I was like, oh, I don't really know what to use, and I found the leftovers from the original mystery kit of Tavern, and I was like, yeah, this is exactly what I want. And then I was umming and ahhing about whether I had enough like leftovers, whether I could like find some extra date covers, and I was just like, you know what, let's see if there's still one on the website. And there was the full kit, and then it was only when it arrived and I like put the full kit next to the leftovers I had that I realised instead of the peach that's in this one, there's yellow in the original mystery kit. So a full kit is more than enough for me to do a whole weekly spread with anyway, so no bother. I mean, I'll just have leftovers from 2 different kits instead of one kit. I also have a little bit less space because I'm on the dining table. Let's go with blue for Monday. Apart from multiple pub trips this week, the actual week was like going pretty well, and then on Sunday was when I started to feel rubbish, and I mentioned this in my plan with me last week, that I just started feeling really rubbish, not ideal, like low energy, and then I managed to pick it up the week after, which you've already seen. Okay. So yeah, it's quite a tail off this week. It starts off really good. But as I said, a nice planner kit can fix it, even a rubbish week. Make the memory planning look nice. It'll all be fine. Okay. Let's try and keep these in order. I need to cut the washi. So on the full kits you get cut marks for where to cut both strips of washi to make them 15mm strips. Okay, I perhaps could have been a little bit more heavy-handed with it, but it has cut. Let me know in the comments what you think of the different background, because I like played around with like some sheets of paper to try and have like a white background on the table, but then I realised like the actual wood tone is not horrible. I've just always had white backgrounds in my videos and in all of my pictures, so it feels a bit weird having a wood background for a bit, even if it is only temporary. Okay, 4 boxes. So we've already used, okay, well, I think I'm gonna have to use the dog, because we did take Reggie to the pub on one of the days. Also, when we got to the pub to see our friends on the Monday, they were all like, where's the dog? We were like, well, we didn't know if you were bringing yours and they won't get along, so we decided not to bring Reg, but we probably could have, because it was like a really chill, pet-friendly beer garden. I'm not going to use the roast because we didn't have a roast at all. I might use the other end of this one. And then the background of this one is the same as this like pub garden scene. And then I really like the canal boat, but we won't buy any water, and I want to use this one, I think. So yeah, we'll use this girl at the bottom of Saturday. And then the pumps at the top of Sunday. Just need the weekend banner, which I'll probably need to peel up at some point. And there's the base, missing the date covers, of course. Not date covers, date numbers. But yeah, that's the base of the spread. Now we can get into my plans for the week. Okay, I ran upstairs and got my date dots because it was annoying me that they weren't there. So the 23rd, I really need to order some more of these. 23rd. These are dates version 2 from Plannerface. Unless I'm using foil, I basically use these every week. 24, no, 24. I know some people use like tweezers and stuff for date dots. I've tried with the tweezers and they just don't work for me, but as with most stickers, balancing them on the end of a craft knife seems to work best for me. 27, 28 and 29. Okay, so I don't quite have the normal amount of space I do, like I said, so we're going to be a little bit all over the place. Right, third boxes, cool. So starting off on Monday, I was working on site this day, and then I had to message, I've got a big sticker for this, I had to message my coach to say that I was fine to train this week after being tattooed at the weekend. It was healing nicely, so I wasn't worried about like training with it. And then I'm gonna mark in the pub that we went to, which is in on the green. Yeah, I haven't been there for quite a while, but it used to be our like standard go-to. And then a half box, because we were going there to meet up with one set of friends and then another set of friends. Oh, actually I could fit them in two separate things. And then yes, we were going there to meet up with a couple of friends, and then we had bonus friends that were there as well. So it was really nice to catch up with everyone. Like, I hadn't seen them in person for a couple of years. I think that one's gonna have to be a little thing. Oh no, it can be a bit bigger. I feel like I've got too much choice. Just have to go for another one of these. Oh, that's too big as well. We'll just go with this, and we can trim it a tiny bit. You know me, if the stickers don't fit, make them. Sorry, I think I just elbowed you. I don't have my usual amount of space to be getting my elbows out. Okay, so for work this day, I have vanilla, and then for messaging my coach, I have a tattoo care squidge. For going to In on the Green, I have the little puppy pub sign, which I know is there, but I think it's okay. For catching up with friends, I have some vanillas chatting to each other, and then for the drinks at the pub, I just have a Lottie, who, again, I might trim a little bit. I'll just trim you to like the bottom of the column. Okay, I like that, that's really cute. Moving on to Tuesday, I was working from home this day as normal. So I'll use a quarter box, and then I had to, ooh, maybe if I use a different colour, come back to you. Yeah, okay. So, working from home, I then after work did my training journal. And then I trained. I think this day at work was quite busy, so I didn't actually manage to do my training journal like in my lunchtime or before work when I normally do it. After that, I had a bit of a YouTube binge, kind of while I was at work, you know. I find it so much easier to work when I'm like watching stuff. And then played some Baldur's Gate with Becca. A classic. I'm playing a lot of Sims at the moment because of the new pack. So, oh yeah, last week was definitely busy. Look at the state of this vanilla for work. I then have the book doodle from the kit for my training journal. Dumbbells version 2, which matches this pink perfectly. A TV doodle from the kit for my YouTube binge, a custom snatch script, and then vanilla gaming for gaming. Okay, moving on to Wednesday. On Wednesday, I was working on site, and I know I don't like putting like work stuff in this planner, but a little trick that I had played on one of my friends from work paid off this day. And it went perfectly, basically. So she'd accidentally somehow given me full like read and write access to her work calendar, like her Outlook calendar, and she doesn't know how to revoke it. I do, but I'm not telling her. So every now and then I will add something into her calendar, like nothing big, nothing that's going to make her like think she's forgotten some like important work task, but just like the kind of reminder that she might leave for herself. So I left her a reminder that said to bother one of our other co-workers, which is the sort of reminder she would leave herself. And while I was away in Vienna, in Austria, she'd messaged this co-worker who I'd written to bother and was like, do you know what this is about? And he was like, oh, maybe. I don't know if it's about this or this. So basically I managed to trick them both into thinking that they'd kind of agreed a meeting with each other, which they hadn't. And it paid off this day because they found out that it was me and it was hilarious. So I'm going to put in, long story short, I'm going to put in my calendar hijinks. Because, oh, it made me laugh. It really made my day. You know, when you're like, I forgot that I'd done that. And it paid off in like the best way. So I have Bernilla with a massive to-do list for work this day, and then I have this gizmo from a Papershire sampler who I just think fits the vibe of like me being a little gremlin. We did some more modding this evening and then played some Baldur's Gate, so I've just got the menu deco from the kit for modding menu, kind of makes sense to me, and then Papershire headphones for gaming with Becca in the evening. Moving on to Thursday. This one. On Thursday I was working from home, and oh, it's the glitter header that's wonky. Nice. I then trained, so I only had 3 training sessions this week. This was like a week 0, so then the week that I planned, that I shared last week, was my week 1. Then I also had a bit of a YouTube binge this day. Like the middle of this week I didn't really do a lot. It was very much like Monday and weekend heavy. Fun. And then we just played some Baldur's Gate in the evening. I think I will cut down a square box. So if I just pop the square box in there. And then cut it in half. And then probably about that much. Cut a chunk out the middle. Okay, nice. Thursday I was in meetings for a lot of the day, so I have a kind of Teams Papershire doodle for training. I have again Dumbbells version 2 and a clean script from Plannerface. And then YouTube binge, I have the TV doodle. I think that might be the TV doodle from the original version of this kit, so it might be a slightly different turquoise. And then Lottie gaming. Okay, moving on to Friday. I forgot I have patterned little things as well. Oh my gosh, there's so much in this kit. Okay, first thing to mark on Friday is that it was 2 of my friends' birthdays. And then I was working on site. So we use a patterned 3rd box. After work this day, me, my partner and Reggie all went to a different pub, the one we've been to earlier in the week. Let's go with you. So we haven't walked down to that pub for a while. So it's really nice to kind of walk down there, take Reggie. Reggie loves the pub. I then just played some Baldur's Gate with Becca, and we had some drinks at home. Just rearrange all of this slightly. So for it being my friend's birthdays, I have the balloon doodle. I think again that's from an older version of the kit. And then, oh, this Friday at work was just absolute chaos, so here's a printer that's on fire. For walking to the pub with Reggie, we have the little dog. I know he's right there, but he's going there as well. For some Baldur's Gate, I just have some deco from the kit. And then I have a wine doodle for some drinks at home. Bit of a drink heavy week this week, but it's fine. On Saturday, I started off with doing my memory planning. So we'll pop that in. This is apparently the pattern that goes with red, so sure. I then did my July monthly as well, so I had a very planner heavy morning. Let's use you. I don't want two rounded ones next to each other. Let's use this one. Cool, so July monthly. This day, team training was a lot later in the day, so I went and got the groceries in the morning. I just got an earlier click and collect slot. And I started my level 2 coaching course. So I did a load of that. I was trying to get it done for British Champs, but I'm filming this now instead of being at the venue coaching, so I obviously didn't get it done. Thankfully no one was like actually relying on me. I was kind of like a backup person to be coaching. Otherwise I would be feeling real guilty right now. But they split British Champs over like 3 days instead of 2, so we had a lot less clashes of people needing to be being coached on different platforms at the same time. The last thing that I wanted to mark in this evening is playing Baldur's Gate with Becca, so we'll pop in a little square box for that. And then be another peach little thing. When I got home, my partner was getting rid of a bunch of cardboard that we've had. You know, you just buy a couple of things and they come in like loads of packaging, and then the packaging just kind of sits around for a bit because it doesn't all fit in the recycling at once. We had that going on. So I came home and there was just piece of cardboard everywhere. But it's all gone now, so it's fine. So for my memory planning in the morning, I have the planner doodle from the kit. For setting up my July monthly, I have a vanilla with some pens. For the groceries, I have the grocery doodle from the kit. And then for starting my level 2 coaching course, I have vanilla studying. For team training, I have vanilla weightlifting and a custom team training script from Plannerface. And then for the cardboard, I found this little like cardboard box donate and sell doodle that I had. So we didn't donate anything because it was like literally just cardboard, but the boxes are what it's there for. And then I have Lottie Gaming for Baldur's Gate in the evening. Okay, Sunday was when I started feeling rubbish. Yay. I started off the day by trying to do my like Sunday reset. So we'll mark that in fairly big. There you go. I then did my June reflection. So got all of my like photos printed and filled in that like reflection section of my monthly setup. I then did some editing. Oh, I don't really have any red quarter boxes left. How has that happened? Okay, well, we'll use this one. Use this one. If I use it this way around, then the two dark blues aren't like next to each other as well. Okay, editing. Me and Becca then played some Baldur's Gate for a lot of the afternoon. So I'll put an actual turquoise because there's like barely any turquoise on that. And then, as I said, I just started feeling like really low energy. Let's pick you on a swatch. Just feeling real low energy. And then I just had a lazy evening. So yeah, not the best end to the week, but we're surviving. So I have the vacuum doodle for my Sunday reset, for doing my June reflection. I didn't know how to mark this in, so I'm just putting a roast dinner in. I didn't have a roast this day, but there we go. For editing, I have the laptop doodle from the kit. For gaming, I have Lottie gaming. For feeling low energy, I have Lottie feeling low energy. And then for my lazy evening, I just have the pillow doodle from the kit. So that is all of my stickers down for the week. I'm really happy with how this one is turning out, and I'm also happy that I'm not currently boiling upstairs with no fan and no airflow. I'm gonna fill all this in and I'll be right back with the final spread. So here's the spread all filled out, and I'm really happy that I decided to wait until I had this kit in so that I could memory plan this week exactly how I wanted to. If you've made it this far in the video, leave me a beer emoji in the comments. But that is everything for this video. If you have any comments or questions, please leave them in the comment section down below. I'm really sorry about the car horn if you can hear that. Drop the video a like if you enjoyed it, and if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you next time. Bye!